Oh, here we go again. This is going to be another fun one. Angsty, depressed, reckless, overjoyed at times. Yes, that can count as a flaw. Arrogant, ignorant, such a baby at times. And yet, this is the description of Eren Yeager. It's another day and another time, just the roast characters for no reason at all, because I'm a sadistic fuck who wants to have a good idea. And yes, I did just list something close to 20 seconds worth of just insults towards Eren Yeager for no reason at all. And I'm not done yet, because he has a lot of flaws for a lot of pros. Now, that's not a problem with him as a character, but fuck gives me a lot of material to shoot back at him. And one of the ones that I hate the most, and I mean, I usually say dislike, but I genuinely hate the most about Eren's character, is he is so gullible. Like, I'm talking unbelievably gullible, right? And if it wasn't a given, there will be the odd spoiler here and there for their respective shows from where they've come from. So the thing I'm meaning to about Eren, right, is he is so gullible, and I mean that the greatest sense of respect, but he is beyond gullible. So spoilers for the series, like I've just said for the second time, so you've had your warning, and okay, cool. He didn't even anticipate the idea that two of the main enemies of the show, so season 1, season 2, of the Colossal Titan Armored, couldn't be a part of his own squad. He couldn't fathom the idea. Oh, including Annie, female, who looks directly like her. Reiner looks exactly like the Armor Titan, has the same blonde hair, both hunch fellas. They just don't look like Titans. Like, come on, Colossal Titan, giant tall one, you probably couldn't anticipate that. However, Berthold is tall and skinny looking as well, so you could probably put the comparison across, but obviously it makes more sense of Annie and Reiner's comparison than it does Berthold's. And for a show from season 1 through to season 3/4 that is so heavily based on, right, these Titans are, you know, they're fast, they're mobile, so you need to use the ODM gear. He's crap at using it. You know, he's improved, don't get me wrong, since the start of the season to season now, but he is so bad at his own equipment that's in his own series. As soon as he realized he had a cheat code and used the Titan shifting ability, he was like, fuck this shit, I'm out, I know what I'm using now. Like, get a grip, dude, you have no skill. And too often he just jumps into every scenario plausible using anger, thinking, oh, this'll make me win, blah blah blah. And I'm there like, yeah, great fight scene, but then you get your ass handed to you not once, not twice, but 3 times by Annie. Like, give it a rest. And I'm going faster than I did with the Edward Calric episode because I love Attack on Titan. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I've never really thought about these flaws out loud, but it just quite apparent the more and more I do this about Eren, that he has such a martyrdom complex. So I'll explain what that means. A martyrdom complex is otherwise known as like someone who is marked by the idea of self-sacrifice, and they feel they need to stop themselves, they need to, you know, sacrifice themselves to save everyone else, and they're the victim of this world, so they need to make sure they seek out the suffering of the world and take it all on for themselves. And it's also described as a pattern of pain/suffering seeking behavior. So he actively seeks to be punished and actively seeks to, you know, seek, you know, pain against himself and suffer and all this sort of thing. And it's, as much as you want to admire it, you do respect it. As much as you want to admire it, it's pathetic at times. One of the best scenes, I think, in the show, which also puts down to how bad he is when they're fighting Krista's dad when he turns into the Colossal, and he's there crying his eyes out saying he wants to die and he wants to this because he understood the truth now, but he also didn't take that on the chin and goes, right, I'm gonna fix it. He goes, I want to die. It's like, come on, my dude. And yes, I've just realized I've spent 4 minutes non-stop roasting him, but I have to say it's quite easily, he is one of my favorite protagonists of all time, but not every protagonist has a flawless record. He is by far flawed, but he also has massive pros towards him, or should I say he has strengths. But before I jump into strengths, for a main character, he has such low charisma. Other than Armin and Mikasa, no one really likes him. They only follow him because he's the strongest and they respect him, but they don't like him as a person because he's so arrogant and has such low charisma that everyone just goes, oh, I don't like you. However, I need to move away from the cons because I've just spent 4 minutes to 5 minutes roasting the fella. He is incredibly strong at working in a team, whether it's in his Titan form, whether it's in the ODM gear, whether it's setting up ambushes or raids. He's always at the forefront, and he always knows how to coordinate with people really well. And that may not be a character strength, but it works well for the show. But him as a character shows that he isn't always reliant on himself, despite always going gung-ho. He's able to find an answer to nearly any situation that puts himself in, which is so contradicting. But he is so admirable like that. He has tremendous physical brawn. His determination is probably second to none in any anime character other than probably Naruto and Luffy, in that as soon as he knows he needs to do something, he will never give up. You know, the first episode at the end when he's crying on the boat, he says immediately he's going to wipe out all Titans. And if you've read the end of the series, spoiler, and I'm giving you another spoiler and another spoiler, another spoiler, he stops all Titans permanently. They're all gone. Every single thing is gone. He does what he says he will do. Everything he's ever stated in the show, bar 1 or 2 random things, he always gets it done. And then couple that with his courage, it never fails, and he's so highly respected, but he's probably one of the most hated shonen protagonists and probably one of the most hated anime protagonists. And yes, anime is it's a large spectrum, so it's hard to really base that. But if you look on, let's say, the most popular tag, we'll use that. He acts all edgy and angsty, and yes, that applies to a certain crowd, and it can be quite good. But with Eren, he just isn't liked, and sometimes a show can be phenomenal, and then sometimes the main character just isn't liked. And there are other shows like that, but I'll leave that for now. Now, I don't usually talk about the ending of characters, but I felt this was somewhat necessary. So if you don't want to know the ending of Attack on Titan, or at least Eren's specific story, please turn off now, save it for a later date, come back when you know about it. Sometimes the ending of a main character or an ending of a certain character, their own arc inside the show, can fix the character. And, you know, throughout season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, now part 2 and all this sort of stuff, he's always gone, I'm going to end this, I'm going to end this, I'm going to end this, I'm going to end this non-stop. And if you know the ending, which he basically took all the responsibility on, turned the whole world against him, even Mikasa and Armin, Jean, you know, the entire cadets was against him. You then had Marley against him. Paradise was, you know, sort of in the background just chilling. Every part of the world went from fighting individual segments to different countries to now everyone focused on just Eren. No one else. They all have a same role, and there are certain scenes in the manga when different country leaders and different country militaries all turn their heads and like fire head on him to stop them, go after Eren instead. And by the end of it, the island that, you know, he is from and everyone wants to kill are the ones who stops him. You know, Mikasa has to cut off the man she loves' his head off completely. And if you know the show, and I keep saying this because I have a bad feeling people who don't know spoilers are still here. You know, he's done a lot of dark shit, but he didn't really deserve the ending he got, because it's the easy ending. If he lived with the consequences and he went through it that way, that's more speaking to his character. But by Isayama killing him off, it felt like, okay, he got the hero ending, or he got the martyred ending, which is I made myself the villain so everyone else can have something to focus on and don't hate each other anymore. And it's a shame it did that, but it worked very well for him specifically, and it then gave everyone a fresh start to some degree. You know, all the Titan shifters were human again, all Titans were out of existence, so there was never any, you know, Paradise, I've got these or that, got this, you know, all that's gone now. And it means, you know, Marley has a fresh slate with Paradise, Paradise has a fresh slate with the rest of the world. And what was the cost? Eren's life. And obviously all the people who got stamped in the rumbling. But the main sacrifice to the story was Eren. He built himself up so big to be the villain in the end because he knew the ending from season 2 as a character. You know, he saw the flashbacks, he saw the future, he knew what was going to happen, and decided to take it all upon himself and make himself the big final villain so everyone else can live peaceful lives. You know, he had in the carriage scene, he said, no one's going to take this on. I'm going to make sure you all live happy lives. And everyone got all wholesome and everyone forgot about it. But he really followed that through. and that's incredible writing from me. And I thought I'd follow this all up from, you know, 6 minutes of roasting the fella to 5 minutes of giving him some good words. But yeah, that'll be it for the Eren Yeager one. I do hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm still debating whether to upload this one or the Edward Elric one first, but AO. Have a good night, have a good day wherever you are. Follow, like, all that kind of shit. If you didn't like it, let me know. If you liked it, let me know. Otherwise, I don't care. Peace.